Hi, welcome to today's lunchtime flow. Sorry, I'm a couple of minutes late. A few technical problems once again. I hope you're all doing well today. As always with these classes, if you have any injuries, if anything's going on, please take it easy, back off when you need to, and listen to your body. We are going to be using a block today. So if you have a yoga block, grab it. If you don't, grab something that is a little bit like a yoga block, so maybe a book or something similar. So taking a moment just to grab that now, and then when you're ready, we will make our way onto our mats and get set up. So we're going to start off in a tabletop position, so hands are below your shoulders and your knees are hip width apart. I'm just going to take a few little movements here to start warming up the wrists a little bit. So start to lean your weight forwards and then back. So all the way back towards your heels, bring your seat bones. So lifting up, leaning forwards. And then shifting your weight back. So heels come towards, seat bones come towards the heels. Let's do a couple more like that, just moving at your own speed. Noticing where your limit of your motion is as you start to tilt forwards and tilting backwards. So your seat bones might not touch the heels, but see if they can, do your best here. Let's take 2 more rounds like this. Leaning forwards and coming backwards. Last one, leaning forwards and coming all the way back. From here, we're going to lift up into a tabletop position with a neutral spine. We're going to reach our right arm forwards and kick our left foot back. Flex the left foot, so really reaching the left heel backwards. Find your Ujjayi breath if you haven't done so already. And then moving nice and slowly with control, bring your knee towards your elbow. As you do this, really round the upper back, press the earth away. Straighten back out. We're going to do this 3 more times. Knee towards elbow. Make the movement nice and controlled, nice and steady. Straighten back out. 2 more. Coming in. Knee towards elbow. Straighten back out. Last one. Knee comes towards the elbow. And straightening back out. Pausing here. Pull the core in and up. Nice and slowly, we're going to drop that right hand down and spin that right knee round. So we're coming into a modified side plank. So all of the left foot is on the floor. From here, reach the left fingertips up towards the ceiling. So you want to find a nice secure position here. Squeeze the tummy muscles in towards the spine. So you want to feel nice and stable. And then go ahead, see if you can lift your left foot off the floor. Keep breathing. Lower that foot back down. And then see if you can come up onto the fingertips of that right hand. Maybe you stay on the fingertips, or maybe you focus your gaze to one spot and see if you can lift the right fingertips off the floor. It's a little bit wobbly, a little bit shaky. Place those fingertips back down. This time we're going to lift the left foot and see if we can lift the right hand too. So it doesn't look like it's going to be very difficult, but it's actually really hard to find your balance here. Stay with it. For 3, for 2, for 1, nice and gently coming back to center tabletop. Before we move on to the other side, just take a couple of rounds of cat and cow. So inhale, we drop the stomach, lift the tailbone, lift the gaze. Exhale as we tuck the tailbone round the spine, chin comes towards the chest. Take about 2 more of these. So inhale, we drop the stomach, lift the tailbone, lift the gaze. Exhale, we're rounding the spine, chin towards the chest. Last round. Inhale, open up. And exhale to round. We're going to do all of that on the other side. So we're going to reach our right arm forwards, our left arm forwards, and our right foot back. Reach the right heel back towards the back of the room. Press the right hand down. Find your stability, find your balance, and then move slowly, bring your knee towards your elbow, round the spine. Straighten back out. 3 more, knee towards elbow. And straighten back out. Keep breathing as you do this, knee towards elbow. Straighten back out. Last one, knee comes in towards the elbow. Straighten it back out, holding it here. From here, we're going to lightly place that left hand down, spin into that modified side plank the other way. So the sole of the right foot starts flat on the floor, right fingertips lift. Think about your base here, so what's touching the floor, and then squeeze everything into the center line. Find a nice strong position here. Let's lift the right foot up. Flex the toes back towards you. See how this feels. Drop that right foot back down. Come up onto the fingertips of that left hand. Maybe you stay here. Maybe you start to use your core, use your stability to lift that left hand off the floor. Stay with it. Drop those left fingertips back down. Lift the right foot. And we're going to go for foot and fingertips lifted. So focus your gaze. Use your balance here. It's a lot harder than it looks. Stay with it. For another 3. Enjoying the wobbles and the shakes for 2. Last one, and then we gently come all the way back into our tabletop position. Take a big breath in through the nose. Open the mouth and just sigh it out. Take another breath in. And as you exhale, push up and back to a downward facing dog. And often in our down dog, we step straight into it and start moving around, shifting, bending one knee at a time. But see if today you can just come straight into your downward dog and stay in stillness. So really notice how the hands are feeling on the mat, how the feet are feeling on the mat, and try not to make any adjustments straight away. Notice the natural position you come into, and then see if you can tilt your tailbone a little bit higher towards the ceiling. From here, come right up onto your tippy toes and walk your feet to behind your wrists. Take a ragdoll at the top of your mat. Opposite hand comes to opposite elbow. Let your head just hang heavy. You might take a little sway, a little bounce, just feeling your way into your hamstrings, waking the back line of the body up. Release your hands. On an inhale, roll yourself all the way up to standing. Have your head as the last thing to lift. Reach your arms up overhead. Take a full body stretch. Exhale, we're folding straight back down. Inhale takes you to a halfway lift. Flat back, crown of the head reaches forwards. Step it back into your high plank position. Just pausing here for a few breaths. Think about reaching the chest forward, so gaze is down but ahead of the mat. Squeeze the muscles into the legs. From here, start to bring the chin towards the chest and round the upper back. So you're pressing the upper back up towards the ceiling. It might feel a little bit harder to breathe here. Definitely a little bit harder to talk here, but really pressing the hands down, tucking the chin, keeping the core, the hips all in the same place. Let's hold it for another 5, 4, for 3, 2, 1. Lifting the chest back forwards, coming back to your normal high plank. Options to drop the knees or lower yourself all the way down onto your mat. From here, bring your hands to the outsides of your mat, so sort of in line with the shoulders, and you're going to come onto fingertips. From here, inhale up into a high cobra. And as you exhale, you just roll the chest back down along the mat, forehead comes down. 2 more like this. Inhale, peel the chest open. Exhale, roll it back down to the floor. Last one, inhale, peel that chest open, gaze lifts, chest lifts. Exhale as you roll the chest back down onto the mat. Hands come back onto the mat, underneath the shoulders, come back through your knees. Downward facing dog. And this time in your down dog, feel free to take any movement. So it might have felt a little bit frustrating to stay in that still position. And now really let yourself move into the pose. Take any adjustment you might need. Bring your big toes together to touch and lift your right leg up. Bend your knee, open up the hips. Now today we're going to go into a wild thing. So moving slowly, we're going to start to lift onto those right fingertips. And we're going to try and drop the right toes onto the floor behind us. The sole of the left foot is down. So just the toes of the right foot are on the floor. Press the hips up. Reach the right fingertips towards the top of your mat, really coming into a back bend here. Breathing deeply. Find that whole side body stretch. And then nice and gently, you're going to lower your hips onto the floor. So you might be slightly off your mat, and that's fine. You're facing the back of the mat. We're setting up for a sort of reverse tabletop. So bring your hands, fingertips facing towards your hips, just a little bit behind you. So just below the shoulders, a little bit behind the shoulders. Your right knee is bent, your left leg is straight. You're going to press up into this modified reverse tabletop. So squeezing the glutes, lifting them up high. From here, lift your left foot. Options to just stay here or take 5 movements like this. So reaching the left foot up and then back down for 5, 4, 3. Keep lifting the hips for 2. Last one, lift it up and then nice and gently lower back down onto the floor. Hips come down. Turning the left fingertips to face the top of the mat, so turning back. We're going to lift this right hand up, come onto the right toes, lift back into that wild thing. From here, as if moving in slow motion, use your core, your stability to lift those right toes off the floor. Moving slowly, step that right foot as close to that left hand as possible, but you almost want it to float next to the left hand before you place it down. So in our low lunge, take a little look back at your left toes and see if you can reach them back, walk them back a little bit further. So you're going to your full limit of rope motion here. Come up onto your fingertips and think about reaching the chest forwards. Breathe. From here, keeping the body as still as you can. Reach your right arm up and forwards. Lower that right hand down, coming onto those fingertips once more. We're going to do the exact same thing on the left side. Notice as you start to lift up, you might want to tilt towards the right. Try not to do that. So left fingertips reach forward. Everything else stays the same. Lower both hands down. This time, I'm sure you've guessed it, we're going to lift up both hands at the same time, but really try and keep the rest of the body where it is. Lift both arms up. Even though most of the weight is coming forwards here, think about that back foot. Keep the back leg strong. For 3, for 2, for 1. Nice work. Place the fingertips back on the floor. Step that back foot in about a few inches, not quite halfway. We're going to straighten the front leg. From here, we're going to come into our triangle pose. So right hand comes to the inside of that right foot. Peel the left arm open, reach the left fingertips up too. If this feels really tight, if you hate this pose, which I know a lot of people do, maybe grabbing your block so your hand is a little bit higher. Gaze can be down towards the floor or up towards the left fingers. Think about pulling your right hip backwards here. Stay with it. Nice and slowly, we're going to release our hands back down, bending through that front knee. So we're coming into our low lunge once more. Again, look back towards the left toes. Shuffle them even further backwards this time. So really lengthen the distance between the feet. We're going to go into that lifting of the arms once more. So keeping the body where it is, just lift the arms up, squeeze the core. Maybe this time around it's a little bit easier. Maybe not, maybe it's just as hard. But stay with it. Focus your gaze, focus your breath. Last few moments here. Stay with it if you can. Nice work. Place both hands onto the mat, flat this time. Step that right foot back into your 3-legged plank. Hold it here. Options to just stay here or take a 3-legged push-up with me. So shift your weight forwards, bend your elbows, straighten your elbows back to your three-legged plank. This time lower down halfway. Place both feet to the floor. We're in our up dog. Open the chest. Exhale, downward facing dog. Nice work. Take a side, take any movement that you might need. Let's do one of that on the other side. So feet to touch, left leg lifts, bend that knee, open the hips, and setting up for that wild thing. So slowly does it, lower the left toes onto the floor. So you want to keep that left heel lifted if you can, and the sole of the right foot on the floor. Lift your hips up as you reach your left hand back, maybe even back towards the floor. And then with control, lower the hips onto the floor. Again, you might have left your mat, don't worry about it. You're facing the back of the mat. Turn both hands so they're facing towards your hips, slightly behind your shoulders. We're setting up for that reverse tabletop once more. So when you're ready, big breath in. Exhale, lift the lips, lift the hips, reverse tabletop. Choose if you just stay here for today, that's a great place to be. Maybe you lift that right foot up. Keep squeezing the core, keep squeezing the glutes. Maybe you come with me, lift that right foot up, lower it down. For 5, 4, keep breathing. 3, for 2, for 1, nice work. Lower the hips, the legs down onto the mat. We're going to turn that right hand round so the fingertips are facing back towards the top of the mat. We're going to make our way back through our wild thing. So coming up onto the tippy toes of the left foot, lift the hips up. From here, start to lift the left foot off the floor. So see if you can really do this in slow motion. Start to bend the left knee, bring it in towards the chest. And we're going to step it as close to that right hand as possible. Great work. Both hands down, shuffle that back foot a little bit further back. Lift up onto your fingertips. Reach the chest forwards. So find the longest stance you can take with your feet. Breathing here. We're going to do that same thing again. So reaching, keeping everything as still as you can. Reach the left arm forwards. Drop that left hand down onto the fingertips if that works. And then we're going to reach the right arm up. Notice as you start to lift the right arm, you might shift a little bit towards your left. Really try and keep stable in both of your feet. Place both hands down. We're going to go for both arms at once, reaching forwards here. Try not to lift all the way up, so keeping that tummy almost kissing the top of your thigh. Back leg is strong. For 3, for 2, for 1. Both hands come down. We start to straighten that front leg as you step that back foot in slightly. Toes are pointing towards the top right corner of your mat. We're going to come into our triangle. So left hand comes to the inside of the left foot or shin. Peel the right arm open. Again, if you prefer to have a block with your triangle, go ahead and open up. Think about pulling your left hip backwards here. Gaze can be down or up. Just breathing into it. 1 more full breath in. And as you exhale, releasing the pose, place your block to one side if you used it. Both hands to the mat. You're going to bend the front knee, walk that back foot back. Again, really come to the full expression of this pose. So how far back can you walk your right foot? Maybe take a look at it and see, I think I can go an inch further. Give that a go. Breathe. Find your core, squeeze everything, keep everything steady as you reach both arms forwards. Even though we're all in the front, all in this front leg, really squeeze that back leg. Breathing deeply here. Stay with it. Last few moments. And we release both hands flat to the floor. Step it back into your 3-legged plank. Again, options, stay with the three-legged plank, or come with me and take a three-legged push-up. Shift forwards, bend the elbows, straighten the elbows, high plank. Let's go for that three-legged vinyasa, bend the elbows. Drop both feet down, up dog. Downward facing dog. Just taking a few breaths in your downward facing dog. Maybe a sigh. Soften your knees. Gaze in between your hands and as lightly, as softly as you can, jump forwards. Halfway lift. Fold forwards. Bring your big toes together to touch. Bend your knees into a chair pose. Sink the hips nice and low. Fingertips reach up tall. Really press down with the heels here. Maybe even lift the 10 toes. Full breath in. Exhale, fold. Flat back on the inhale. Step back, high plank. Options to drop your knees or keep them lifted. We're going to lower down to a low plank and hold. Hold the low plank for 3, for 2, for 1. Tuck the toes, upward facing dog. Squeeze the glutes, squeeze the armpits. Downward facing dog. Step your right foot forwards, warrior 1. Inhale to right. Exhale takes you to a warrior 2. Checking in here that the front knee bends towards the baby toe and not the big toe. Outer edge of that back foot pressing down. Flip your front palm and reverse. Go up and go back. Extended side angle, forearm to thigh, left arm up. And actually today with our left arm, we're going to reach it overhead. So again, it's that straight line from the left foot all the way to the left fingers. Choose, if you stay here, if you're ready to go a little bit more, reach the right arm forwards too. Don't let the chest drop here, you're opening up. Imagine there's something in between your hands here and you're squeezing it as hard as you can. Stay with it. Breathing deeply, press the back foot down as hard as you can. 1 more breath in. Exhale, release hands to mat, step back. High to low plank, an option to hold your low plank with me. If you're holding, let's go for 3, for 2, for 1, up dog. Downward facing dog. Step your left foot forwards, warrior 1. Press both feet down, rise up 2. Open into your warrior 2. Again, just taking a moment here, really think about bending the front knee outwards, so often it knocks in. We want to look after our knees here. Ujjayi breath, gazes over that front middle finger. Flip your front palm and reverse. Extended side angle, left forearm, left thigh, right fingertips up and then overhead. So really think about that opening all along the right side of the body. Breathing deeply. Choose, if you want to just stay here, that's a great place to be. Or maybe you reach your left arm forwards too, as if you were reaching out, maybe for a big beach ball, squeezing into it. Don't let the chest sink, you're opening it up as much as you can. Breathing as deeply as you can. Can you bend that front knee a little bit more? Let's go 1 more full breath in. And as you exhale, release hands to mat, step it back, high plank. Either go straight through your vinyasa or hold your low plank with me. For 3, keep the chest lifted, the hips lifted. For 2, for 1, up dog, straighten the arms. Downward facing dog. A couple of breaths here in your down dog. Step your right foot to the outside of your right hand and step your left foot to the outside of your left hand. So you're going to drop down into your Malasana squat. I'll turn around. So feet are pointing out, around about hip width apart. And today we're going to reach our arms up. So especially if you're quite open in the hips, this might feel quite easy to just sort of hang around, take it easy. But if that is you, think about engaging, so almost lifting the hips a little bit higher. Alternatively, if this is super challenging and you're up here, stay exactly where you are, breathe into it. See if you can draw the knees outwards a little bit more without actually touching them, just breathing into it. Last few breaths. And release both hands to the floor, lift the hips, forward fold. Let the head hang heavy and a gentle tuck of the chin towards the chest. Heel toe your feet together to touch. Take a halfway lift. Exhale, we fold. Bend your knees, chair pose. Sit the hips nice and low. We're going to lower the hips so low that they come all the way down onto our mat. Take your time. Find your way to a seated position. And this is when we're going to use our blocks. So come to a wide leg seated position. Don't worry about going to your full width, so they don't have to be too wide apart. And you're going to place your block just on the inside of the right calf, the right shin. If you have a yoga block, you can choose the settings. If you have something else, that you can choose the settings. Basically, the flatter to the floor it is, the easier this is going to be. So you can either go for that way, or all the way up. If you've never done what we're doing before, which is a sort of leg lift, I would go for maybe the lower edge, but if it's super easy for you, by all means, change it up. From here, you're going to place your left fingertips to the sort of center of your legs, right fingertips to the outside of that right thigh. Really important here is to stop yourself leaning backwards. So it's really tempting to lean back. If this is already uncomfortable for you, maybe shuffle yourself back to a wall so the lower back is actually touching a wall. From here, sit up nice and we're going to lift this right foot over the block and lift it back. That's one. So notice if that was easy, maybe increase the height. If it was hard, keep it where it is. You might feel a little bit crampy up in your hip flexor as we do this. That's very normal. Let's go for 5 of these. So lifting up and over for 1. Up and over for 2. Notice if in between sides you need to sort of re-establish what you're doing, that's fine. In your own time, we'll go for 3. Don't lean back too much for 4. Last one, lifting up and over for 5. We're going to move on to the other side. If you need to bend the knees, hug them in, shake them out, please do. Take your time to set it up. The block is now on the inside of the left shin. Right hand is in the middle of the legs. Left hand to the outside of the legs. You're not pressing too much with the hands. They're just here to help guide the crown of the head up. Great. So once you've found a good position, both seat bones pressing down, crown of the head lifts. Let's go. Up and over. Notice how this side feels. It might be that you want to go higher, you want to go lower. You choose. So 5 of these in your own time, lifting up and over. Up and over. Last 3 of these. Notice if you need to pause. If you're losing form, take your time. Last 2. Last one, lifting up and over. Great work. Removing the block. If you need to, hug the knees in, give yourself a little rest. Otherwise, bring your legs together to touch. Toes flexing back towards you. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, lead with the chest come to a forward fold. Let the hands come wherever they rest on the body. So knees, shins, ankles, soles of the feet. Draw the forehead, the crown of the head forwards towards the shins, the toes. And it's quite nice here to close the eyes down. So especially in these more dynamic practices where you spend a lot of your class really thinking about where's my foot going, where's my right hand, where's this, and trying to balance, trying to keep yourself upright. It's nice as we start slowing things down to really drop inwards. Notice how is this movement feeling in your body? What effect is it having on your body, on your mind? And it can be a mixture of things from frustrations if you're not able to get into the poses the way you want to. It can be joy as you find some opening that you didn't think you had. Whatever it is, it's completely personal to you and it's part of your own practice. And even if you find that your hamstrings are super tight in this pose and you're not coming into it nearly as much as you'd like to, try and bring some softness into the pose. Softness to your physical body, softness to your mind. If you are folding forwards, nice and slowly lifting all the way back up. From here, we're going to roll onto our back, so feet flat to the floor, arms out to the sides, as slowly and as controlled as you can. Try not to sink into it, lower down onto your backs. We're going to take a bridge pose from here. So we've done quite a lot of strengthening. Now we're just going to take a gentle stretch of this front line of the body. So fingertips reach down to touch the heels. Press the feet down. And then nice and slowly start to peel the hips up, peel the lower back up. Peel as much of the spine up off the floor as you can. Make sure you're squeezing your glutes here. So you might even give your little poke. Often you think you are engaging them in poses and actually they're a little bit switched off. So really make sure you're squeezing into the glutes. And here, think about the feet. Think about pressing the feet down, but also dragging them without moving them. Think about pressing them down and dragging them backwards. As you do this, you should feel the whole of your hamstrings start to light up. Press the arm bones down, the upper arm bones down, open the chest a bit more. Keep breathing. One more full breath in. And as you exhale, nice and gently roll down along the mat. Sway your knees from side to side. We're going to take one more back bend. If you want to go for another bridge, go ahead, lift up. Otherwise, stay with me. I'm going to take a wheel pose. So hands coming next to my ears. Big breath in through the nose. And as you exhale, just push up, lift up off the floor into your full wheel. If you're going for wheel and you're down here, crown of the head on the floor, that is great. See what you can do. If you're fully lifted, reach your chest towards the top of your mat or the top of the mat that you can see. It might be the back of your mat. See how much you can straighten through the arms. Keep lifting, everyone, wherever you are. Squeeze the glutes for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Nice and gently, if you're in wheel, tuck your chin towards your chest. Everyone rolling down along the mat. Sway the knees from side to side. Take a big breath in through the nose and sigh it out the mouth. Bring the soles of the feet together to touch. Let the knees fall open. One hand to heart, one hand to stomach. Feel the beating of your heart and feel the rise and fall of your stomach beneath your hands. And it's that wave of going from quite intense poses, intense sensations in the body to rolling down the other side of that wave into this lovely, restorative, calming place. Gently bring your knees to touch, hug them in towards the chest, give yourself a nice big squeeze. It might feel good to rock side to side, massaging the lower back. Grab the underneath of your thighs and take a rock and roll backwards and forwards. You can go for 1 or 2 or however many you like, coming up to a seated position. We're going to take a little hip opener from here, seated today. So we're going to go for our double pigeon. If you know where you're going, go for it. Otherwise, we're going to start with right leg on top. So the left shin comes parallel to the top of the mat. And then place your right ankle on top of your left knee. If, like me, you're quite tight in the hips, your right knee is going to be quite high up off the floor. If you're like me, you're going to place a block, find a nice little cushion for that knee. Some of you are going to have your shins parallel, sort of stacked on top of each other. If that is you and you feel like you could stay here for ages, just come to a forward fold, bringing the forehead down towards the floor. Others of you might find that your knee is so high up you can't really access this pose. If that's you, place the right foot in front of the left knee, coming into this sort of wide, loose, cross-legged position. So a few options there. Once you've found your pose that works for you today, close down the eyes. So this is a hip opening pose. Right now, you might feel it in both sides. You might just be getting it in your right side. Either way is great. And know that if you're not getting enough, you can deepen it by leaning forwards, by twisting one way or the other. Explore the pose and find a way for it to work for you. And you might notice as you stay here a little while, if your right knee was quite high up, it might start dropping. We've used our hips quite a lot today, so they might be feeling the heat a little bit. If you are folding forwards, nice and slowly lift yourself all the way back up. We're going to unravel the legs. It might feel nice here to stretch them out in front and either give them a little shake or make fists with your hands and give yourself a little self-massage by sort of giving the thighs a little bash, maybe all along the outer edges, getting into the IT bands. Might feel quite nice here. And then we're going to do that on the other side. So this time, right shin is on the bottom. Again, trying to get it parallel to the top of the mat. And then left shin comes on top. So don't be surprised if one side you couldn't get into it at all, and on the other side you could. Again, if you're tighter in the hips like I am, place a block. Make this pose as comfortable as you can. If you're super open and want more, go ahead folding forwards. But wherever you are, it might feel nice to just close the eyes. Allow the pose, allow sitting in the pose to just do its work on the body. Notice if the tension from your hips is spreading anywhere else. Like all tensions in our life, whether they're physical or mental, it doesn't take much for them to spread to other areas of our body, other areas of our thoughts. And that's one of the wonderful practices of yoga, is stopping that or trying to notice when that happens and then using skills you have to start stopping it from happening. So right now, checking in with your jaw, your forehead, your shoulders. And gently deepening the breath if you've lost control of that, or if you've lost connection with that. If you were folding forward, slowly lifting yourself all the way back up, unraveling the legs. Again, if you need to, shake them out, give them a little bit of a self-massage, bit of love, whatever works for you. And when you have finished with that, we're going to come to lying on our backs. So lying flat on your back, hug your right knee in towards your chest, and then let that right knee fall towards the left for a spinal twist. Open the right arm towards the right and gaze towards the right. Make your way back through center and let's swap sides. So hugging the left knee in, give it a nice big squeeze. And then let your left knee fall over towards the right. Open your left arm towards the left. Supine twist. Check in with the breath here. Last few moments of practice. Breathing as deeply as you can. Coming back to center, hug both knees in towards your chest. Bring your forehead towards your knees. Squeeze everything in. Make everything as tense as it can possibly be. Take a big breath in through the nose and hold it at the top. Squeeze everything in as much as you can for 3, for 2, for 1. Exhale out through the mouth. Let go of the legs. Let go of the arms. Come to lying flat on your back. Let the feet fall open. Palms face the ceiling. Eyes are closed. Try not to make any adjustments and just be with where you are right now. There's no need to change anything, no need to move anything. Just be in stillness. Take a deep breath in through the nose. Open the mouth and just let it go. Take another one like that. Big breath in. And just let it go. Wiggle your fingers and your toes. Reach your arms up overhead. Take a full body stretch. Roll onto your right side into a fetal position, pausing here. And then nice and slowly coming all the way up to a seated or a kneeling position. Hands together at heart center and the eyes are closed. Enjoying one final moment of stillness as you stay here before you go on to your day, the rest of your week. Maybe seeing if you can take some of this stillness, some of this calm into your afternoon ahead. Lift your thumb knuckles up to your forehead center. And together we bow forwards and say, Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed practice. Let me know any questions, any feedback you might have. Otherwise, I'm actually doing a live class tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. for 45 minutes, or I will see you soon. Thank you very much.